Hey guys, I'm Alexmo, and recently I made videos making new teams for Ash and his companions, and both videos were very fun to make, and I think a lot of you guys enjoyed them, so I'm making a third installment where I make new teams for his rivals. As for this video, I just have a couple rules I want to go over. One is that I'm not going to be worrying about giving anyone 6 Pokemon. If I give a character 1 Pokemon, they get 1. If I give a character 6 Pokemon, they get 6. I also am only counting people as rivals if they've had 2 battles with Ash. So someone like Cameron, who only had that 1 battle, just doesn't count for this. So sorry Tobias fans, you're not in this video. So we start off with Gary, and Gary is a weird character just because he has like hundreds of Pokemon, so I can't really give him a main team. So what I'm going to do for this is give the 6 Pokemon I think he should have used in his Johto League battle against Ash. These Pokemon are Blastoise, Umbreon, Arcanine, Kingler, Nidoqueen, and Dodrio. These are his main Pokemon, I want to say. These Pokemon have showed up multiple times, essentially. He has some Pokemon that are just one-offs, but these are all Pokemon that have shown up multiple times. Some, of course, you know, as like Blastoise, Umbreon are pretty important. But even his Kingler, which was compared to Ash's Krabby a lot, and his Dodrio, which appeared a bit in Chronicles, are some more important members of his team. Next up is Morrison, and he has Matang, Girafarig, Growlithe, Swampert, Steelix, and Gliscor. This is pretty much his team for before. It was pretty much perfect for him, but I decided to evolve his Gligar into Gliscor, just because it can promote Sinnoh, which is coming up. And I know the Hone League happened like 60 episodes before Diamond and Pearl, but May caught a Munchlax before Morrison was even introduced, so he can have a Gliscor. Next up is Paul, and he's in the same boat as Gary that he has a ton of Pokemon, so I'm just going to be going over the 6 Pokemon he should have used in his Sinnoh League battle against Ash, and those Pokemon are Electivire, Magmortar, Torterra, Ursaring, Honchkrow, and Drapion. And I went by the same principles I did for Gary. These are all Pokemon that are important, and he has used multiple times when he battles Ash. The only difference is Drapion, which was a new Pokemon for the Sinnoh League, but it was just so damn important for their battle that I couldn't get rid of it. Next up is Nando, who is kind of a weird case because he has 2 teams, one he uses for battling and one he uses for contest. So I'm just going to be adding a Pokemon to his battling team, instead of going over his team that he uses for both battling and contests. Nando's battling team should be Roserade, Kricketune, Armaldo, and Altaria, and the new addition is Altaria. He should use it as his first Pokemon in his Sinnoh League battle against Ash. Going into that battle, Ash was worried that Nando wouldn't use a grass or bug type, so it just makes sense to have him use a Pokemon that's not a grass or bug type. And this is a Pokemon he already has for contests, so making such a strong Pokemon a battler makes sense. For Barry, I'll give him Empoleon, Rapidash, Roserade, Snorlax, Staraptor, and Hitmonlee. This is basically his team from the games. His anime self already has a lot of his game's Pokemon, so I figured to just do most of them. The only difference is Hitmonlee instead of Heracross. Heracross is a Pokemon that just a lot of characters have, so I thought it was weird to give Barry one as well, so I gave him Hitmonlee, which he has in the anime, and I like his Hitmonlee. I don't know, I just like it. For Conway, I'll give him Slowking, Shuckle, Dusknoir, and Kecleon. So Conway's kind of a weird case because he used 3 Pokemon in the tag battle arc, and then 3 completely different ones in the Sinnoh League. They essentially completely reworked his team later on. So I decided to give him a stable team that he would use both times, and I took Pokemon from both teams. And this would essentially be a Trick Room team. Slowking could set it up, Shuckle and Dusknoir would use it. And next is the new addition Kecleon. For 1, it's kind of slow for Trick Room, and 2, it has an interesting battle style where it can go invisible, so I think that fits Conway. But the main reason I added it is because it can learn the move Faint, which was kind of an important move that Conway used during the tag battle, so I figured that I need to give him a Pokemon with Faint for that one battle, so I went with Kecleon. For Trip, I gave him Superior, Simipour, Chandelier, Unpleasant, Vanillux, and Conkeldurr. I really just fully evolved this team here, and made one change, replacing his Jellicent for Simipour. He's a Unova rival, it just makes sense for him to have one of the elemental monkeys. Next up is Bianca, who I gave Simisear, Musharna, and Escavalier. So the biggest change here is Simisear instead of Emboar, and that's because I wanted to give Emboar to a different character who you'll see soon, so I gave her Simisear as well. It's to give her an elemental monkey, which Unova rivals have in the games, and it's a fire type, so it can really replace Emboar as her main Pokemon, and I feel like it could have a similar personality to her Emboar. The other new addition is Musharna. This is one of her most iconic Pokemon from the games. It just makes sense for her to have it here. Next up is Stefan, who I gave Sock, Mienshao, and Emboar, and the main thing I decided to do here is give him a fully fighting type team. I just feel like it's a type that fits him. Sock is his ace, so I just went for that. Mienshao is a Unova fighting type that I just think would be interesting for him to have, but the main one here would be Emboar, who I took from Bianca. It would probably be his starter Pokemon, and it would be a very reliable Pokemon for him. Next up is Tierno, who I gave Ludicolo, Halucha, and Oricorio, and I know this is a very weird and changed team, but let me explain. So, the team I went here was dancing, and I guess birds. All these Pokemon are birds. That wasn't intentional, but I guess he's a bird keeper now. So as for Ludicolo, this would be his main Pokemon. It would obviously dance. It would use Rain Dance, which would be its dancing move, and would basically replace Blastoise as his ace. Next up is Halucha. It's a Pokemon he has in the games, and I guess it could be a sort of rival for Ash's Halucha, maybe even be shiny. But the main thing here is that it would know Feather Dance and Swords Dance, two dancing moves, and add to Tierno's dancing battle style. And finally is Oricorio. He would use this in the league as his electric type instead of Raichu, which would be used to promote the new Sun and Moon games. It's been a while since there was a rival who had a Pokemon from the newest games, so I decided to do that for Tierno. Next up is Trevor, who I gave Aerodactyl, Aurorus, and Tyrantrum. These are all Pokemon he has in the games, and all fossil Pokemon. As a photographer, I think he would be very interested in fossil Pokemon, and try and take pictures of Pokemon that are thought to be extinct, and well, are extinct. His ace of the team would be Aerodactyl, which would be his Pokemon capable of Mega Evolving. Next we have Sawyer, and his team will be Sceptile, Salamence, Slacking, Aegislash, Clawitzer, and Carbink. I went with the same theme he had before, 3 Hoenmons and 3 Callusmons, and all I did was change one of his Callus Pokemon, Slurpuff, to Carbink. So for Carbink, I decided to replace Slurpuff with this, mainly just because Slurpuff is Miet's Pokemon, so it felt weird to have 2 rivals with the same Pokemon, so I chose Carbink instead. And the reason I chose Carbink is because it's made of stones and gems, which relates to Sawyer's training with Steven Stone, and that whole stone theme. So next up is Alon, and for Alon, I actually didn't make a new team for him, because my friend Kuroblitz made an amazing new team for Alon, so I'm just going to share with you Kuro's team because it's a great idea. He decided to give Alon a team of Charizard, Tyranitar, Metagross, Swampert, Beedrill, and Pidgeot, and he would only ever Mega Evolve Charizard, but all 5 of the rest of his Pokemon would be capable of Mega Evolving. It gives him a cool theme of Mega Evolution in his team, and I just loved this idea. Next up is Gladion, who I gave a Lycanroc, Silvally, Zoroark, and Weavile, and I just replaced his Umbreon with Weavile. I thought it was weird that he had an Umbreon in anime. It's not a Pokemon he has in the games, and it didn't really do much on his team, so here he has Weavile instead, an actual Pokemon he has in the games, just a different dark type for him to have. I gave Howard a Decidueye and Probominable, and I just decided to replace his Raichu with Probominable because there have been like a million Pikachu vs Raichu things, we don't need another one. So here he has Probominable. It's a Pokemon that his grandfather has and one he uses in the games, so it would be sort of parallel to his grandfather's. It's your boy Guzma, and I gave him Golisopod, Scizor, and Pinsir. His team is perfect. I did not need to change this at all, so I just gave him Pinsir. It's the one he has in the game, and he would just use this in the Battle Royale preliminaries. Like, he has no reason to need another Pokemon, so I just added Pinsir because I basically had to. So for Kukui, I decided to give him Incineroar, Venusaur, Empoleon, Blaziken, and Chestnut. So already the majority of his team was starter Pokemon, so I just decided to give him all starter Pokemon. So we know in the games that Kukui travels through multiple regions, like he went to Kanto, so I don't think it's a stretch to say Anime Kukui did the same thing. And since Kukui is very similar to Ash, I'm sure he caught a ton of starter Pokemon throughout his travels. As for the ones I chose for his team, I chose Blaziken and Chestnut, just because they're fighting types, so they fit the whole Master Royale shtick. So speaking of fighting types, we have Bee, who would still have all her fighting type Pokemon at her gym, so I'm just going to be changing the team she uses when fighting Ash. And for that I gave her Grapploct, Surfetched, and Phalanx, because she's a Galarian fighting type gym leader. She should actually use Galar Pokemon. Surfetched would replace Halucha and battle Ash's Farfetch'd, and normally in the anime the pre-evolved form Farfetch'd would beat the evolved form Surfetch'd, but I'm gonna keep it the same. Bee's Surfetch'd would still defeat Ash's Farfetch'd here. As for Phalanx, this would replace Hitmontop in the second battle. Pikachu would battle it and use Iron Tail to disperse all the Phalanx from each other, and then it would use Electro Web on the ground just like before to prevent the Phalanx from regrouping, which would allow Pikachu to finish it off. And finally we have Rinto, who I gave Mega Gallade, Metagross, and Orbeetle. Now, I think he should still only use Gallade in his first two battles with Ash, but if Rinto ever reappears, he should definitely have a Mega Gallade. As for his next two Pokemon, he would only ever use this if he reappeared and had a 3v3, and I just gave him some strong Psychic types. Rinto seems to have a Psychic expertise, he's a very analytical trainer, so it makes sense to give him Psychic types. And that was it. I hope you enjoyed, and wait, I feel like I forgot someone who... Oh, Cross! Yeah, I guess Cross counts as our rival, right? I guess I should do Cross, so I'll give him Incineroar and Komodo. Now, I thought it was weird that he had Lycanroc since that's kinda Gladion's Pokemon, so I'm gonna give him Komodo instead. It's a very big fighting type from Alola, and I think it would just be a bigger Lycanroc, essentially. This is the actual end of the video, so I hope you enjoyed. I don't think I'm gonna do a fourth video in this series. I can't think of more characters to change the teams of. So I do hope you enjoyed this little mini-series I did. I had a lot of fun making it. Please tell me your opinions in the comments. How would you change these characters' teams? And if you're interested, you can like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.